Imagine eating a bowl of strawberries. You notice that one looks much bigger than normal. You then start to wonder why this happens. This is because of genetic engineering. Genetic engineering is changing a living organism's DNA for a specific purpose. These organisms are called transgenic organisms. A common form of genetic engineering is selective breeding. This is when you only want living organisms with specific traits to produce the offspring. Sometimes, farmers will use genetic engineering to make polyploid plants. This is when they want to make their produce bigger and more nutritious. In genetic engineering, there are two methods of selective breeding. Number one is inbreeding. Inbreeding is when you get two organisms and continue to breed them if they both have a characteristic you want to keep. However, despite inbreeding being useful in some cases, it can also be dangerous. Because organisms from the same breed are genetically similar, this increases the chances of the offspring receiving a recessive allele for a genetic defect, such as a bad hip. The second type of selective breeding is hybridization. Hybridization is crossing organisms from two different species that have traits you want to combine. For example, a disease-resistant plant that's crossed with a fruit-producing plant will have an offspring that is both disease-resistant and fruit-producing. Genetic engineering also affects the produce we buy from the store. Genetically modifying crops makes produce less expensive and more beneficial. For example, a common practice is adding a protein called Bt toxin to plants. This is beneficial because it kills insects, and plants don't need pesticides because of the protein. Genetic modification isn't just for plants, but is also used in many ways for animals as well. Just like the crops, animals are genetically modified to be more nutritious and more beneficial. For example, because pig meat is so high in fat, they are often modified so it's leaner and contains more omega-3 acids. Genetic engineering can also help with disorders in your body. Gene therapy is altering a gene used to treat a genetic disorder. This can only be done if the disorder has a genetic cause. An example of this would be having defective hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a protein found in your blood cells that carries oxygen through an organism's body. The first thing that scientists do to treat a disorder is make a healthy copy of the gene that produces hemoglobin. Then, they inject the gene into the body through a harmless virus and overtakes the cells. The chromosomes will then accept the DNA and make it part of their genome and will begin to produce the protein. Genetic modification is used all around you. So the next time you notice something has been genetically modified, you can thank genetic engineering.